Usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Keep summer green with Judson Bleav and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install 'em and forget 'em outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Seems like just the other day, I was building my first house. I've seen many changes to our building market in Lincoln. It's been a fun road.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, we hear this a lot where I don't want to live in a cookie cutter home. Well, let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost. One thing that we started doing early on was we started building neighborhoods. I'm a firm believer in character in your street and in your neighborhood. I like choice. I like variation. I like maybe something a little bit different in a neighborhood that you don't see in every neighborhood. I think it's great to have choices, its uniqueness, and I think that's what gives a neighborhood character. And I think that's what we've done over the years.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
By now, most of you know how important the Honda of Lincoln sales and service team are to the Lincoln market. Hello, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear from Honda of Lincoln to tell you about the great news they just received. Andy, please tell us all about it.
Each year, the Lincoln Journal-Star has an award program called the Lincoln Choice Award, where the customers in Lincoln get to choose the best places to do business. Great pleasure I get to announce that Honda of Lincoln has won the award for buying new cars, used cars, automotive repair, and even oil changes.
That is amazing, Andy. Any more good news?
Yes, there is, Charlie. We now have more than 100 new Hondas in stock, with hundreds on the way, and a huge selection of all makes and models on our pre-owned lot.
Incredible. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, deal ends June 14th. Join now, online or at your local PF Club.
See Home Club for details.
Community means something different to everyone. But for me, it means cheering on those around you during the good times and helping them out during the tough times. I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I've been blessed with the support of my friends, family, coaches, and community throughout my life. When looking for a bank to call home, it was easy to choose Midwest Bank. I never feel like just another customer, and they're proud to support their communities. They love what they do, and it shows. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
All right, it's time for Final Jeopardy. It's been a tight contest today that all comes down to this final question. No summer picnic or family get-together or trip to the lake is complete without this particular item. Let's go first to Bob.
What is beer?
No, that's not it. Think about the kids. Over to you, Farley.
What is corn on the cob?
Tough to grill that on a bow. Wrong again. Grace, this time for the win.
What is Bure's cheese spread?
We have a winner! Bure's cheese spread, available in most local grocers in Nebraska.
Hey, Nebraska! Register today for the 40th Annual Cornhusker State Games, taking place July 11th through the 21st in Lincoln, Omaha, and other Nebraska communities. The Cornhusker State Games features 70 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. Price increases are approaching, so register early and save. For details, go to cornhuskerstategames.com. Advocating for physicians in the health of all Nebraskans, Nebraska Medical Association, a proud platinum partner of the Cornhusker State Games.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
This is Adam Carricker on the ticket.
Position right of the quarterback out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carricker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carricker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carricker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, Adam Carricker.
Welcome, everybody, into another edition of the Big Ten Show, the Big Ten Show here on the Bleav Podcast Network, also 93.7 The Ticket. We've got a phenomenal guest today, but before we bring him on, I'm one of your co-hosts, Adam Carricker. Rhett Lewis, as always, joining me, does a phenomenal job. I decided to take last week off, sleep all day, not come to work. So, Rhett did all the work. So thanks for covering me, my man. All right.
Glad to have you back, buddy. This is good. This is a good time of the year as we kind of get ready for the unofficial start to the new Big Ten season, which of course will be Big Ten Media Days at the end of July. I got to spend last year's Media Days and many days after that with my good buddy, Ben Hartsock, who is joining us today, a 10-year NFL veteran, a great Ohio State Buckeye, a national champion, and an all-around good guy. Great to have you, Benny. Excited to have you join the program here because I know you believe in the Big Ten as well. What's up, bud?
The countdown started. I don't know when we can officially say that the season is here. It feels like week 0 is now week 1. So
yeah.
Week 0, we can already say we're on the cusp. Media Days is right around the corner. Any day talking Big Ten football is a good day.
I think we're at like 60-something days, maybe till like week 0 begin. The countdown is for sure on, and it has been ever since we got under 100. And we've actually got a little bit of a countdown ourselves here today on Bleav in Big Ten because we're going to do 10 burning Big Ten questions with Benny. It's unintentional alliteration, I think, but we're excited about it.
It sounded great. Phenomenal.
We're going to go with it.
I like it.
So let's do this thing here. We might throw a little input in here, but we're also going to give some of our answers as well once we get yours out of the way here, Ben, because I'm looking forward to this because you always got some nuanced takes, especially as we enter the world of the new Big Ten, which is where we shall begin. What are you most looking forward to this year as we embark on the new 18-team Big Ten Conference?
Yeah, I mean, bringing in the West Coast 4 represents the new era of it's no longer a regional sport. It is a national sport. And what am I most looking forward to? The Big Ten needs to start stacking and stuffing its trophy case. It really does, because whereas Rhett, when you and I played, Adam, when you and I played, the SEC was a far off land that we knew about, and we knew that they played football, but we weren't really that hyper concerned with. But now the Big Ten is in direct competition with the Southeastern Conference, and for the past 15 years under Nick Saban, most notably, and more recently under Kirby Smart, they've been stuffing the trophy cases. And right now, you bring in Oregon, who has been in the college football playoff. Washington was in the playoff last season. USC under Lincoln Riley's leadership is a very proven product. You've got 3 teams that are automatic playoff contender. Playoff. It should be a given and national championship contenders. That adds to what Michigan just achieved, what Ohio State has done, and what we hope Penn State will do. So what I'm most looking forward to is it's time to not just be a contender. It's time to start holding trophies and standing on the stage with the confetti raining down in the Big Ten.
All right, so
preferably Ohio State, by the way. Quick
Sure.
caveat.
Yeah.
Preferably Ohio State, but if not them,
anybody but Ohio
team.
State after you said that. I'm sorry. Anybody but Ohio State. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care who it is, honestly. I just want the Big Ten, I'm with you, to be represented.
Let's keep the trophy.
In the college football playoff, the national championship game, hopefully winning a national title. That'd be phenomenal. All right, transfer portal, huge part of college football, as we know. A lot of transfer portal additions, subtractions across the country. Who, in your mind, is the biggest transfer portal addition to a Big Ten team this offseason?
I think the one that has the most pressure is Will Howard at Ohio State. Will Howard coming in and replacing a quarterback in Kyle McCord that but just about every measurable, Kyle McCord was a superior statistical quarterback to Will Howard, except one. And so Kyle McCord had more total passing yards, had more touchdowns, his touchdown to interception ratio was twice as good as Will Howard's. So then why Ohio State fans scratching their heads saying, why Will Howard? Well, Kyle McCord effectively had negative rushing yards and he had no real rushing attempts. Meanwhile, Will Howard comes in with 81 rushing attempts and around 350 yards last season. That is the only thing that I can point to say, okay, Ryan Day wants to have a certain modicum of quarterback athleticism, quarterback run, the zone read option that fixes things for that offense. And Kyle McCord didn't have it. Will Howard's going to be expected to do it.
I got a quick follow-up. I know Rhett's got another question, but if you were Ryan Day, the head coach of Ohio State, would you rather have not Ryan Day, we know who Ryan Day wants, would you rather have Kyle McCord or Will Howard as your starting quarterback next fall?
I personally would have kept Kyle McCord, because here's the thing with Will Howard. He seems like a wonderful young man. The word in Manhattan, Kansas was he wasn't going to keep his starting job against the young upstart named Avery Johnson.
He already lost.
So as an Ohio State fan, like let alone a guy that played, a fan, I'm like, wait, we're taking a guy to lead the Ferrari that is Ohio State, and he couldn't even keep the job that was I don't want to say besmirching things towards Kansas State, but it's not for the Ferrari that Ohio State represents. So, what I understand in today's quarterback specifically is there's no runway.
Yeah.
That I do trust Ryan Day, and the only thing that I will still trust his judgment in this because some of this is unquantifiable. You guys have both stood in huddles, and you've been in huddles when you look into someone, a leader, a team captain's eyes and said, that's our dude. And you also know when it's not. Yeah. And the only thing that I can because Ryan Day is a reasonable person, I can assume that Kyle McCord was not the guy that stood in that huddle that everybody said, that's our guy, and Will Howard is. So that's the only logical. It's hard, you can't quantify that, and we'll see when we kick it off this fall, but that's the only last measure of why you would say, wait, why are we getting rid of a guy in Kyle McCord that was one tipped interception against Michigan from still being the starting quarterback? There's a butterfly effect there, but I would have stayed with Kyle McCord.
Okay, along those lines, quarterback conversation continues here. Our third question for you is one that is very specific. Most productive quarterback this year, not the one that wins a national title for his team, not the one the JJ McCarthy's of the world that were very good but did not put up the huge numbers. I'm talking about the most productive guy who puts the most production on the field for his team in this conference next year. Who you got?
Yeah, it probably will be Dylan Gabriel at Oregon, and it's funny, Rhett. I'm still having to remind myself, the +4. I've got +4 that I need to roll in there.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got more options. And so Dylan Gabriel comes in. It would be easy to say whoever's leading Ohio State, which expects to be Will Howard. But Dylan Gabriel comes in with that very quarterback-friendly offense. Look at what Bo Nix was able to do under Oregon last season, and it was get the ball out a lot, get the catch it, rip it short, getting the ball in the receiver's hands and let them rip it downfield. So that should be Dylan Gabriel.
Don't feel bad about getting used to the 4 West Coast teams coming in. Rhett and I did a top 25 show, like all the Big Ten teams that were in the preseason top 25 post-spring, and we went through all of them, and USC was like number 25. I completely left them off my list, completely forgot to talk about them. I was like, oh, yeah, they're in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
my bad.
Yeah,
I'm used to all those years when they played Big Ten teams in the Rose Bowl. I can't get that out of my head.
That's right.
All right, next question for you. And I'm just going to throw this out there. Ohio State's running back room is freaking loaded already, but there's pretty strong rumors from Ryan Day that Caleb Downs is not only going to play safety, but he's been spending some time in that running back room as well. So just keep that in mind when I ask this next question as to who do you think will be the breakout player of the year in the Big Ten this fall?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible with Ohio State's ability to maintain its talent.
Mm-hmm.
That in a world, specifically in the quarterback room, Will Howard, Devin Brown, Julian Sayin, Aaron Nolan, I mean, incredible. But at running back, Travion Henderson, before he before his injury struggles were so prevalent and kind of cemented as his legacy, he was a Heisman guy. He was like, hey, this guy's got Heisman potential. But amidst that, you bring in Quinshon Judkins, and I've heard some of those similar rumors about Caleb Downs. And I mean, yeah, it's base level as Pop Warner guys. You take the best athlete on your team and you hand them the ball. So why not, right? Like, absolutely, why not? Which and like the thing with Caleb Downs that blows my mind is how little publicity he's getting in this year's transfer portal class. He was the best transfer portal addition, regardless of position. Red, I know you are our resident draft expert.
Yes.
The dude's a top 5 pick in 2 seasons. Like that's after 1 year of production at Alabama,
right? And
he's going to do even better this year at Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm particularly interested to see what he does with Coach Knowles and how that. Remember what the jump that Proctor made. You get the young guys out there in that Ohio State. That is a Sonny Styles. Whether he's in the safety room, whether he moves around a little bit, like that is a loaded safety room, and there's some serious playmakers in that group. So I certainly think that they could definitely go there. Benny, I left this part out of your introduction, but one of only, if my memory serves correct, 2 tight ends this century to catch over 30 passes for the Ohio State Buckeyes, along with the great Cade Stover, brand new Houston Texan. Excited to see what he's all about in the league. By the way, my sister works for the Texans, and she absolutely loves Cade already. All ball, all the time. He's going to be a big name to watch down in Houston. Who is the biggest name, Benny's best tight end to watch this season?
Yeah, we 2 tight ends ago, it was Feed Ruckert, right? We were trying to get Ruckert to beat that Hartsock stat. A little inside baseball, Adam. This is a stat that's not really a stat that was attributed to me. It wasn't even a record, but thankfully Cade Stover broke it. So it was Ruckert. It was Feed Ruckert 3 years ago, and then 2 years of Feed Stover, and he finally took care of it. And he moves on now to the NFL, and his loss is more his leadership, his presence. He was a dog. He was a guy that did, like you say, that his impact. It's not surprising to hear he's doing well at the Texans. He will be missed from a hard-nosed, plays hurt, gritty, grimy kind of play character. He's right up your alley. That's what he leaves. The guy replacing him is a little bit of a completely different, cut from a different cloth. Gee Scott comes in, a 5th, maybe even a 6th-year senior, converted wide receiver that has been around the building for a long time, so universally respected and thought highly of as a teammate. But he's also been leapfrogged a couple of times throughout his career as not being the starter. It's kind of his by default now, and he's not a big hand in your dirt kind of the guy. He's converted wide receiver, so I'll be interested to see. I expect him to be more H tight end, F tight end, behind the line of scrimmage, cutoffs behind the line of scrimmage and backside cutoff. So as a more hand in the dirt like Cade Stover was.
Any other tight end though that catches your eye in the conference at this point?
No, he's the main guy right now. I haven't studied those guys super closely now.
All right, as we've talked about, a lot of new in the Big Ten this year. There's some new coaches coming in as well. Who was your most intriguing new coach in the Big Ten Conference?
Well, it was going to be Bill O'Brien in his very short tenure at Ohio State, but now it's his replacement in former Big Ten head coach Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly is having Chip Kelly, like, bigger picture, the symbolism of what does that mean to UCLA and what does that mean to just the hierarchy of coaching, that you have proven, tested leaders at the NFL level with Chip Kelly, proven winner at Oregon, doing good things at UCLA amidst all of the madness of the college sports landscape right now, saying, you know what, I just want to coach ball, and for him to focus back in, and so for his part of that story is like, wow, you can feel the weight off his shoulders when you see him at spring practice of, like, I don't have to deal with all the head coach nonsense. I just get to coach ball. He loves it. The perfect marriage for the two is Chip Kelly was Ryan Day's mentor, and that relationship, we've heard about Ryan Day kind of begrudgingly knowing he had to give up play calling duties so that he could do the head coach things of raising NIL and re-recruiting your roster and working all the things now required of head coaches. So it's a perfect, if you could make a handoff least painful, it would be Ryan Day handing it off to the guy that taught him the fundamentals of how to call an offense. So bringing Chip Kelly in to lead this incredibly talented Ohio State roster, the wide receiver room, we all know about Marvin Harrison Jr., but they have completely reloaded the deck. A couple new names entering the chat, Carnell Tate, and then most notably Jeremiah Smith coming in. Two guys outside of Ohio State that maybe you don't know much about. You're going to know about them early in the season.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
All right, it's time for Final Jeopardy. It's been a tight contest today that all comes down to this final question. No summer picnic or family get-together or trip to the lake is complete without this particular item. Let's go first to Bob.
What is beer?
No, that's not it. Think about the kids. Over to you, Farley.
What is corn on the cob?
Tough to grill that on a boat. Wrong again. Grace, this time for the win.
What is Bure's cheese spread?
We have a winner! Bure's cheese spread, available in most local grocers in Nebraska.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing cloud cover throughout the day with an afternoon high around 86. Tonight, probably cloudy with an overnight low around 70. And tomorrow, mainly sunny skies return, a little warmer with a high around 93. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Looking to upgrade your baler this hay season? Choose from over 40 new-to-you pre-owned balers from Landmark Implement. During the month of June, get 5.25% fixed rate for up to 60 months on all used balers and windrowers at Landmark Implement. Put your upgraded hay equipment to work for you in the race against time this hay season. When you purchase pre-owned hay equipment from Landmark, know you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running. Shop all used hay equipment online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out Emerge Zero. Building off the original best-selling Emerge formula, Emerge Zero is a body slenderizing solution that helps blast body fat, curb appetite, and provide the energy you need to get through the day. Emerge Zero can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
You're listening to Adam Carricker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So I think that's a great point. And by the way, built-in synergy already on the staff, right? One of the best offensive line coaches in the country. Also, one of my former teammates, Justin Fry, was Chip Kelly's offensive coordinator at UCLA when they first got there. So now they come back together. There's going to be some synergy there with how they want to attack offenses. And I imagine they hit the ground running, getting that new staff, that new kind of offensive look and attack going in Columbus. All right, let's move forward here. Our seventh question for you, 10 burning Big Ten questions with Ben Hartsock, who is our esteemed guest here on the Bleav in Big Ten show here today. We're going to move to question 7. We know Ohio State is going to be up there. We know that Michigan is looking to defend their Big Ten title again. Oregon has for sure entered the conversation there, but who is the surprise team that could make some noise in the 18-team conference this year?
Yeah, surprise. Penn State can't be a surprise team. They're a perennial double-digit New Year's Six Rose Bowl team, so they're not they're a team that should be absolutely banking on playoff participation, making the playoff. But as far as a surprise team, I think there's some real juice to Nebraska. That Matt Rule.
Look at this guy's face light up over here.
I didn't show any emotion on purpose. Unbiased, kind of.
But outside of Will Howard's expectation of coming in at quarterback, the second most expectant quarterback is Dylan Raiola. And fair or unfair, this guy has been the discussion of recruiting circles for 2 years now. He played for a bunch of different high schools, was committed to 3 different universities, Ohio State, then Georgia, and then finally landing on Nebraska. And you take the development curve of Matt Rule, that his success, he has seen success, not year one, but early in his time at Temple, early in his time at Baylor, and he has been quietly amassing talent. Isaiah Nair at the wide receiver position, and we knew the defense has quietly been fixing itself in Nebraska the past couple of years. So if Dylan Raiola can be the lightning rod that everybody supporting Nebraska hopes he can be, they can make some waves. And part of the reason why I am willing to put myself out there a little bit saying Nebraska, it feels like everybody says Nebraska every year. Their schedule this year is really good. Advantageous for Nebraska.
Yeah.
It is not a stretch to say Nebraska could be 7-0 when it travels to Ohio State late October.
Let's go.
Look, their non-conference UTEP Colorado rivalry game, but Colorado still, you've got to prove it.
Yeah.
And then their early conference schedule is Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers, and Indiana. Rhett, I don't want to,
Whoa.
We love Indiana, Rhett. We love
over here.
We love you.
I'm excited about the Ohio University transfer. I'm excited about him for you, Rhett.
Right.
But I mean, Nebraska could be 7-0, and so that takes you into Ohio Stadium late October. And let me tell you something: no fan base or the media, they will be worked into a frenzy if that Ohio State Notre Dame or Ohio State Nebraska game is. By that point, Nebraska would be ranked top 15, maybe even close to the top 10 by that point.
Yeah.
And then all bets off. If you want to be a top 15, then you got to be able to play in Ohio Stadium against Ohio State. So I like their transfer portal additions. I like what Matt Rule has done in his short time, but also his body of work as a leader. And then I expect a lot out of Dylan Raiola.
So that actually leads into my follow-up question. True freshman, a guy who's played 3 different high schools, 3 straight years. He knows what it's like to start over. He knows what it's like to learn a new playbook quickly, new teammates, get acclimated. In the spring, you watch him in practice. He's making adjustments at the line of scrimmage that I don't really see older quarterbacks making sometimes. He's still a teenager. He's still a true freshman. What do you think is realistically fair to expect out of this very hyped, very talented, but young true freshman this fall?
What is fair, Adam? Gosh, we don't worry about
that. Is a
fair
subjective
anymore.
term, my friend. You do with that what you want.
Well, but it's funny because fair went out when these guys became professionals. Fair and right and teenager goes out the window.
I agree with that.
You're now multi-million-dollar compensated professional athletes, and so the dad in me certainly identifies with what you're saying. But the realist is, big businessman money comes with businessman expectations, and Dylan Raiola has businessman expectations. So I expect Trevor Lawrence when he was a freshman. I expect Tua Tagovailoa when he was a freshman. I expect Justin Fields when he was a freshman. Like I expect Heisman I don't expect him to be a Heisman candidate, but I expect him to be Heisman caliber numbers because that's what it takes. That's what it is, and that's what it takes.
All right, so you look at the fall schedule. I mean, I love a lot of these matchups that we've never seen before. I'm looking forward to Ohio State going to freaking Eugene, Oregon. Who would have thought that would have ever happened in conference? Okay, just as an example, and maybe I just gave away the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Which matchup this fall between Big Ten conference opponents are you looking forward to watching the most?
Yeah, it is Ohio State at Oregon. And
you have a second plan. What's a second one?
The second would be Texas traveling to Michigan. But you wanted conference on conference.
Yeah, in conference.
That's still pretty good. I mean, that's still a pretty marquee matchup this year.
Yeah,
for sure. The national championship rematch would be huge, right?
Yeah. But ultimately, it's that Ohio State Oregon matchup because Oregon comes in, and in the first year it's in our conference, it's expected to be, if not the runner-up, it is expected to be the conference champion.
Yeah,
Michigan. Despite winning a national championship, we expect them to take a step back this year. The quarterback's gone. The majority of their talent is gone, and their head coach is gone. So we expect them to take a step back. And so Oregon fills that void, and you have one of the most proven quarterbacks in Dylan Raiola and Dan Lanning, and Evan Stewart comes in as a transfer. Tez Walker at the wide receiver position. They are stacked and they are talented. So that game at Autzen is going to be huge. It's going to be huge. It really, really is. And in many ways, the winner of that game I see as in the driver's seat for the Big Ten championship.
All right, 2 more. We'll get you out of here. And we've kind of progressed, right? We've talked individual, talked about some teams getting together, matchups, and now the ultimate piece of this game. The expanded 12-team playoff this year comes into existence. How many Big Ten teams make the cut in year 1?
The safe play here is 3.
Yeah, but we don't need safe.
Here's how I'll present it is your Big Ten championship participants, both winner and loser of the Big Ten championship, are going. And then you've got room for one more. And so then I start saying, okay, if it's going to be Ohio State, Oregon in the Big Ten championship, you write them in. And then after that, okay, is this finally where Penn State, who has only had an Ohio State and Michigan problem over the past several years, well, they don't play Michigan this year, right? So if Penn State can slot in there as that third, and then after that, let's say Michigan continues its run of success, and Alex Orji does big things, and Sharon Moore can keep things going the right direction. And Michigan's only loss is to Ohio State in the rivalry game, right? Like, what are the consequences of all of that? That then is where you find your fourth. And ultimately, it's tough right now because we've got no precedent from the panel, from the College Football Selection Committee in this format. Over the 10 years of the 4-team playoff, we learned some of these rules of thumb that was blown up in the last year with Florida State last year. But at least we had a precedence in place from the committee to know 3 or 4 or 1 or 2 or whatever those things were going to be. It's a blank slate right now. So I feel confident 3 will get in. And ultimately, even if 4 deserve to be in, I think there will be a higher likelihood of saying, let's get more diversity in this first year, as opposed to taking potential risk in putting 4 from one conference, especially the Big Ten or SEC.
So there's talk of the SEC possibly getting 5 teams in. So in theory, okay, if that works out, 5 SEC, 4 Big Ten potentially.
I think 4.
Then you're 8. I think 4. Then your ACC champ, your Big 12 champ, and your group of 5 team, the best group of 5 team. There's your 12. So it's interesting wanting diversity because the SEC and Big Ten, yeah, they're going against each other, but let's be honest, they're working together behind the scenes, and they've threatened to leave and do their own thing in their own playoff, and it's very, very real, very, very serious. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if the committee is kind of like, well, we don't want them to leave because then that blows everything all to hell. So maybe they put more in. It could go both ways. I'm just kind of curious.
Hey, Carricker, I like this. It's some tinfoil hat conspiracy theory stuff.
Oh, no, it's very real. It's very real.
I'm with you. It's not just about the best teams right now because the landscape is so fluid. You do have to put those thoughts into mind that if we shaft the SEC or the Big Ten, they do have the muscle and the means to say, yeah, we're gonna slice ourselves out and cut everybody out. I don't mean that to sound disparaging towards you. I think that it's real, and the sad part is that has nothing to do with the play on the field or whether or not it's the right 12 that ultimately finds themselves in the field.
Yeah. So I could make an argument, and we'll see how the season unfolds, but there's probably a strong argument to be made that the 4th best team in the Big Ten is better than the Big 12 runner-up, the ACC runner-up, or maybe even the Big 12 champ. We'll see how that plays out. I do like Utah a lot, though. We'll see what happens there. Last question before we get you out of here, because I am actually looking forward to this matchup a lot. I anticipate Ohio State being a big favorite, especially at home, but it's the game. Can they finally beat Michigan? Can they finally break the streak? How does Ohio State break the streak of 3 straight losses versus Michigan?
Well, it's not going to be a schematic adjustment. It's not going to be they're all blitz and not running blitz. To ultimately what Ohio State has already done, it's either going to work or it's not. This offseason, with its moves and the transfer portal and by NIL, Ohio State pushed all their chips to the middle of the table and says, this is our last move. 3 years ago, they got beat to death. 2 years ago, they got beat with big plays.
The last 7 minutes. Last 7 minutes.
And last year it was just that last interception. Things were like it was that close. And so they've been closing the gap. And the last play, the last card that Ohio State could push is to say, we have to have better talent. And so they opened up the money chest and they kept just about every guy on that defensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau.
Yep.
You bring in Caleb Downs. You keep Denzel Burke. That defense, that is an NFL defense. Every one of those guys.
Yeah.
I heard Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel just the other day say, we've never seen this much talent in one locker room at Ohio State. And I've just said the defense, offensively, Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith are like the next top 5 draft picks at the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
So talent everywhere. So what do they have to do to break the streak to Michigan? They've already done what has to be done. It's whether or not it manifests itself that last game of the season after Thanksgiving.
They return 8 starters, as I'm sure you're aware. You add Caleb Downs. The defense is insane. To me, it's all about, Michigan's going to come and hit you in the mouth again. They've lost the second most amount of returning starters in the entire Big Ten outside of Washington, who only returns frickin' 2. So for me, 2 years ago, 7 minutes left in the game. It was a touchdown game. Michigan wins by 22. Yeah. Last year, the last 15 minutes of the game, Michigan had the ball for 11 of the 15 minutes. They're going to out-talent them. They got great coaching at Ohio State. Can they handle this? That's the only question I have.
Yeah. Can you be a more physical team? Can you catch Michigan off guard? Can you have Michigan going, whoa, hold on a second. Is this the same team we played the last 3 years and beat? Like that's kind of what would have to happen in my mind. Benny, this has been fun, bud.
Appreciate it.
Always great to talk ball with you, man. Thanks for doing
Always fun. Enjoy it, fellas. Enjoy it.
Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Right. We'll have you on again, man. Talk soon, for sure.
Keep summer green with Judson Bylene and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit, long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Soulful Casino in Havelock is a family-owned business, providing incredible food and service that'll have you craving more with every bite. Soulful Casino offers everything from pulled pork to fried chicken, catfish, ribs, and even quesadillas. You want sides? They've got them. From fries, green beans, and baked beans to collard greens, potato salad, and sweet dill corn. Stop by for lunch as they have specials Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2 p.m. That's Soulful Casino, located in Havelock, where every bite you take fills the soul.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker concrete, and Beatrice concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing cloud cover throughout the day with an afternoon high around 86. Tonight, partly cloudy with an overnight low around 70. And tomorrow, mainly sunny skies return, a little warmer with a high around 93. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey Nebraska! Register today for the 40th Annual Cornhusker State Games, taking place July 11th through the 21st in Lincoln, Omaha, and other Nebraska communities. The Cornhusker State Games features 70 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. Price increases are approaching, so register early and save. For details, go to cornhuskerstategames.com. Advocating for physicians in the health of all Nebraskans, Nebraska Medical Association, a proud platinum partner of the Cornhusker State Games.
Seems like just the other day, I was building my first house. I've seen many changes to our building market in Lincoln. It's been a fun road.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, we hear this a lot where I don't want to live in a cookie cutter home. Well, let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost. One thing that we started doing early on was we started building neighborhoods. I'm a firm believer in character in your street and in your neighborhood. I like choice. I like variation. I like maybe something a little bit different in a neighborhood that you don't see in every neighborhood. I think it's great to have choices, its uniqueness, and I think that's what gives a neighborhood character. And I think that's what we've done over the years.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
You're listening to Adam Carricker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, Red. So we got about 11 minutes left to do a sponsor shout out and 10 questions. So I'm going to do the sponsor shout out in a minute, and then we're going to do one question per minute to finish out the show. How's that sound?
Perfect.
All right. Bonzel Pool and Spa. Check them out at bonzelpool.com. Swimming pools, hot tubs, saunas, if you want them, they got them. bonzelpool.com. If you've already got such things and you need them taken care of, swimming pools, hot tubs, and saunas I'm speaking about, check them out. Hit them up, bonzelpool.com. Also, Jacobson Seed Company, your healthy hybrid advantage. Check them out at jacobsonseed.com. All right. We got an extra 30 seconds plus 10 minutes. First question.
Nice.
You go. What are you looking forward to the most in the new Big Ten.
I want to see new rivalries develop, right? I want to see with the influx of these new teams, like does Michigan, Washington like become must-see TV every year? Does that become a rivalry based off the national title game from a year ago in which Michigan obviously came out on top? I want to see if new rivalries emerge. Like we've all been talking about how crazy, it's going to feel to see Rutgers and Oregon play a conference game. What if it turns out that there ends up being like all this animosity and bad blood and it's something that fuels something moving forward? I want to see what develops with new rivalries.
I do think Washington, Michigan has some history to begin with. I think Ohio State, USC already has a little bit of history. I think Washington, Michigan, they played in previous Rose Bowls, national championship game. And just being a guy who grew up in the state of Washington, they played in the regular season several times in my childhood and growing up as well. For me, though, it's just the brand new matchups. Ohio State, Oregon is the perfect example. Just all these new matchups. That's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to. All right, biggest transfer portal addition in your opinion, my friend?
I went Quinshon Judkins here, stayed with Ohio State. I know our guest Benny went with Will Howard, the quarterback transfer portal addition. I think it's also there in the backfield. And I think it's in direct relation or correlation to Will Howard because having Judkins there with a healthy Travion Henderson, you're going to take a little bit of pressure off Will Howard. If you're able to run this is arguably the best running back duo in America.
It's not arguable. It's not arguable. No, it's not.
So, now, if they stay healthy, it is for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other piece of this thing. As a 1-2 punch, fully healthy, it's going to be incredible. But they also give each other and give their team and the offense a little bit of a security blanket. If one does get banged up, bang. Either one of those guys can step in and be a bell cow for you. So I'm going with Quinshon Judkins moving to Ohio State from Ole Miss.
For me, I'm going to go out on absolutely zero limbs, and I'm going to say Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
Oregon had 21 of the best players in America. They just made it 22. Yeah. All right, I'm probably going to have the same answer for number 3. Most productive quarterback in the Big Ten Conference this season.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back to our quarterback rankings a little bit. And stepping out on a limb here, I think Will Rogers from Washington.
I like it.
The way that Jed Fish mentored Noah Fafita and Jaden DeLaura before him and had extremely productive seasons there in the past game at Arizona. Now Jed Fish running Washington's program. Will Rogers comes in with an air raid background, having played for Mike Leach at Mississippi State. Let's throw it around the yard. I think he's going to have opportunity. And with that opportunity, he's going to have production.
All right, I am going to go out on a smidge of a limb here, and I am going to go Will Howard. Okay, just for the sake of not picking Dylan Gabriel. Sure. And here's why. You got the best offensive coordinator in America. You got a head coach who's an offensive guru as well. You've got the most talent around you of any team in America, barring maybe Georgia. You got a backfield that can help. You got a great defense going to keep pressure off of you. I'm going to go Will Howard, the guy who unseated Adrian Martinez as the starter at Kansas State, then lost his job to a freshman. But he's going to come in. He's going to use his legs. Chip Kelly's the perfect guy to call plays for him. So I'm going to go out on a smidge of a ledge, and I'm going to say Will Howard. All right, breakout player of the year.
Breakout player of the year, going right to my old stomping grounds in Bloomington, Indiana. And it kind of happened in the second half of the season a year ago. Donovan McCulley. If you could mirror his production from the final 6 games through the first 6 games, you'd have been talking about an all Big Ten wide receiver. He was incredible, 6'5", speed, dynamic contested catch ability. The one-handed touchdown grab he made on a fade ball against Wisconsin was one of the signature plays of Indiana's season a year ago. I think with the coaching of Mike Shanahan, Tino Sinceri, and the offensive staff, and Kurt Cignetti there at IU, McCulley is going to take off with his buddies Elijah Surratt, Keyshawn Williams, Miles Cross, like that whole group. But I think McCulley, again, with his size and with his athleticism, is going to absolutely elevate this year.
All right. Nobody ever talks about the guys on the dark side of the ball. So I'm going to show a defensive player some love because I also think that he's going to get the opportunity. I don't know how much he's going to do in the backfield. That backfield's already loaded at Ohio State. But what if you return kicks? Talking about Pop Warner, getting the ball in your best hands of your best player, your best athletes. Maybe Caleb Downs returns some kicks. Maybe he does some things on offense. Who knows? But defensively, he's a beast. He is a freaking monster. And I'm going to go Caleb Downs because I'm going to go with the defensive guy just because I want to. And it's our show, so we can do what we want.
We certainly can, my friend. All right, I like that one. What do we got best tight end next. You want to take lead on this one?
All right. So people can accuse me of being a homer, but he was the number 1 tight end in the entire country coming out of high school, ahead of Brock Bowers for a reason. Last year, I was like, man, can he just get through the season healthy after 2 ACL injuries? And he did. And he was the second leading receiver and a pass catcher for Nebraska. And this year, we got all these coaches across the country trying to poach this guy, sending him texts, flat out tampering. Matt Rule called it out. I'm going to go with Thomas Fidone. He's also a guy that's flat out pissed off. Okay, I went to Nebraska not with a chip on my shoulder. I've always said I went with the whole forest on my shoulder. This dude's got a forest and then some, so I'm going with Thomas Fidone from Nebraska.
Okay, I'm going to go with a player that has plays at a school with a esteemed history of tight end production. That, of course, the Iowa Hawkeyes, and a season that never really got off the ground a year ago. And Luke Lachey, he was injured in September, was lost for the season. I think he is back now, an experienced player. New offense, obviously. Coach Lester comes in to run that offense. I think Luke Lachey is going to be one of the most productive pass catchers. Not to mention tight ends in the league this year. I think he'll be that good.
All right. Most intriguing new head coach.
Yeah. For me, I look at this thing as Jonathan Smith at Michigan State, I think is really interesting because there was so much to like about the trend line that he was leading his alma mater, Oregon State, on these last few years. I mean, they've been they were contenders in the Pac-12 conference. He was grooming a good young quarterback that we have had on our rankings at Aiden Childs, brings him with him to Michigan State. So you've got head coach, you've got quarterback, you've got some synergy there. In East Lansing now. And look, there's players. They always have players. They always have. I think the way that Jonathan Smith can bring this new program together will be one of the storylines of this season because nobody's talking about the Spartans right now. So give me Jonathan Smith as the most intriguing new head coaching hire this year.
So that's actually the first guy who popped into my head. But I'm intrigued by the guy who's never been an offensive coordinator now being a head coach in Deshaun Foster. He goes to a place where they lost some things, but they got some talent. Yeah. It was interesting when Ben was talking. He never brought up UCLA as one of the, that he talked about the other three West Coast teams making an impact in the Big Ten, and rightfully so. That's a fair thing to leave them out at this point because they haven't earned the right to be in that conversation. But they've got talent, and I just want to see what he can do. Having never been an OC, never called plays, now you're in charge of the program, and they do have some talent there. So I'm just curious to see what he can do and how long it takes him to build him up if he's able to do so. All right, surprise team.
Surprise team. And again, I think the Spartans could be one of those teams. I think last year's surprise team, was Northwestern without a doubt. David Braun jumping in a very difficult situation to lead that program through some turmoil. They get to a bowl game. I could not have predicted that in a million years. He now gets the full-on head coaching job. I think that one also could have been one of the more intriguing hires because you're looking like, was that a flash in the pan, or is this a sign of some program consistency that they are building? Quarterback position, I think at Northwestern is going to definitely be something to watch. But I think with Braun's leadership and what he has already proven in the midst of some serious adversity, I think Northwestern could once again be a surprise team in this conference.
All right. I'm going to go with the team. I just love saying where they're from. Piscataway.
There you go. Oh,
Piscataway, New Jersey. So Greg Schiano's built them up once in the past. He's back and he's doing it again. They're one of the top 5 teams in the country when it comes to returning starters, returning experience. Greg Schiano's got them kind of on the same. I'm not saying they're going to be like undefeated and number 2 in the country like they were a little over a decade ago in his first run. But you look at their schedule, they do not have Ohio State. They do not have Michigan. They do not have Penn State. My God, is any team happier in the country to not have divisions than Rutgers? Because they had to play those 3 teams every freaking year, plus Michigan State. Yeah. And so now they don't play any of those 3 teams. They got a decent physical squad coming back. Everyone's going to expect me to have picked Nebraska. So I like to just buck trends. Also, I think Rutgers is a team that could legit surprise people.
I think it's a good one. I think it's a real good one. I'm really curious to see what that offense looks like this year with Ethan Kaliakmanis now at quarterback. So we've got matchup to look forward to. I'll give mine here and then jump in with yours. Look, for me, and I know that they are both reloading, but to me, that is what is so intriguing to me. Where are these 2 teams going to be when they get together? Washington,
Seattle,
and Michigan, right? So what is that going to look like, that matchup? And is it a sign, again, of things to come? A renewing an old rivalry, like we talked about this last year with the national title game, previous Rose Bowls and national title games. So I really think that this has got the potential to be, kind of one of those fire starters moving forward, especially as 2 teams looking to prove that that, it's not a rebuild. It's more of a retool.
Outside of Ohio State, Oregon, because that is the premier matchup in my opinion, I'm going to go with Michigan, Ohio State, because Ohio State on paper is the better team, and it is not even close. No disrespect to Michigan. They're going to have them at home. They got all the motivation in the world, all the talent in the world, but they still got to do it. Michigan's going to come in there and try to punch them in the mouth, kick them between the legs, and what are you going to do about it? I'm not saying Michigan's dirty, but what are you going to do about it? Ohio State doesn't even have to – they don't even have to completely match the physicality. Just come close. They were closer last year. If they could match it, they'll win the game. Okay? I don't think they'll surpass it, but if they can just come close, they should win the game. But that's the matchup for me. Can you get over that mental hurdle that's probably there at least a little bit for the Buckeyes?
Good one. Good one. All right. How many teams in the playoff you got here, Mr. Carricker?
I got 4. I do think there's something to the tinfoil hat thing. Because the SEC and Big Ten, they're competing with each other, but they're working with each other behind the scenes. And it's not even that big a secret. And if they want to break away, they can. There's nothing anybody can do about it. I also just think the most entertaining conference in America is going to be the Big 12. I think I've even dubbed it America's Conference. I'm not the only one to say that. Right. I stole that straight from Josh Payton. I'll admit that. Credit to that guy. But the best football is going to be played in the Big Ten and SEC. The Big 12 champ may be able to compete as a top 3 team in the Big Ten, but not the runner-up. Same with the ACC. I got 4 for the Big Ten and either 4 or 5 for the SEC.
Okay, I'm going to go 4 as well. I'm going to say Ohio State. I'm going to say Oregon. I'm going to say Penn State. Okay, and then I'm going to say who else?
USC, Iowa, Wisconsin, one of those 3.
Sure. Does somebody jump in? Does somebody have, take advantage of a great schedule and win 10 games? Or, I don't think 9 does it, but can you be 10-2, right, in the Big Ten? Say you're not playing for a Big Ten championship game, but you've got an opportunity there, to stack some wins. We know what non-conference schedules are these days. I think it's going to be hard for Michigan, as we talked about with their schedule, Texas, Washington, the whole deal, Ohio State, obviously. So, looking at that, I think it's going to be 4, and I think the 4th team is kind of like a wild card, and it could go in a lot of different ways. So I think we're like-minded in our 4 Big Ten teams headed to the playoff.
If it's truly a surprise team, Nebraska maybe could shock people. Who knows? Sure. We'll see. And I've already answered this next question. How does Ohio State
feel the same way? It's physicality.
Yeah.
It's physicality. It's showing you're the tougher team.
They don't have to be tougher. Just match them. Just match them. So I'm gonna pose a different question to you, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
And we got to see how the season unfolds. Yeah. 9-3 SEC team, 9-3 Big Ten team. Who gets in? A 10-2 Big 12 ACC or Big 12 ACC team at 10-2, or do they have to be 11-1? And still, I think there's an argument for 9-3 SEC Big 10 team over an 11-1 team and one team from the other 2 conferences. Your final thoughts?
I think in that regard, I think the 9-3 Big 10 team is the winner because we're playing 9 Big 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
SEC still playing 8.
But they've never been punished for that. Not once.
That's
not
right.
once.
They still have that cupcake matchup late in the season.
Their second bye.
Right. And so until that gets figured out, and look, whether you want to say there's a conference bias, maybe there is, and certainly the SEC could claim some of that, and I get it. And bar none, they are going to have, some very difficult and arguably the best, not even arguable, really the best conference games you're going to have, pound for pound. But I think with the 18 teams now with the Big Ten and the extra conference game, not extra, I mean, we've had 9 for a while now, but I'm just saying like extra in terms of comparatively with the SEC, I think the Big Ten team is going to get the edge this year.
I agree. I think it's an interesting convo. We did not quite make the 1 answer per question per minute, but that's okay. I had a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, we did pretty good.
I've been Adam Carricker. He's been Rhett Lewis. Thanks for joining us on the Bleav in the Big Ten podcast show. We'll see you next time.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at the